when you're calling the right home care agency, they should be setting up a care plan with you
Hmm.
and going detail by detail, the house dynamics, who lives in the house, is there pets, do we need to walk the pet, what kind of personal care do you prefer? So we go through even the kitchen, who's cooking, what kind of meals do you like? So yes, we do those 5 ADLs, and they are trained to do that through state programs. However, what's more important is that personalized care plan. It's that one-to-one touch that you're getting when you set up the care plan.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network, heard across the USA on your favorite podcast channel and on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube today, you're about to meet a very beautiful, wonderful woman that I have just had the privilege of getting to know. And this is Meghan Phelan. And Meghan, you are a multifaceted professional that works with seniors and basically about making sure that they're safe in their home. And given that it's November is Family Caregiver Month, I was very excited to be able to feature Meghan for our tribute to family caregivers this month. And Meghan, welcome to Answers for Elders, and I'm excited for all of our watchers and listeners to get to know you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited about this month, especially, and sharing it with you guys.
Well, I'm excited to talk a lot to you and family caregivers. What I know is there are 70 million unpaid family caregivers out there, averaging over 20 hours a week caring for a loved one. And what's powerful about that statistic is most of them are working a full-time job. Most of them are taking care of a family of their own. And all of a sudden, they are thrust into the role of taking care of a loved one. The other piece of this is the spouse. What we're finding is baby boomers are living longer, and so are spouses. And so, if let's just say wife gets Alzheimer's or dementia, husband is forced into the role of being a family caregiver. And, a lot of times I think when caregiving gets overwhelming, or I know from my own experience, you don't even have time to think about the resources. You're thinking about what's right in front of you, right? And Meghan, you probably can relate to that you just are in this spiral, that you don't realize that, yeah, maybe there's relief out there, but I don't have time to figure it out. And that's really what's going on. People are energizer bunnies and they're burning themselves out. And so I am very excited about the topic that we're going to talk about today. But first, I want to talk a little bit about you and what you do. Would you share a little bit
Sure,
about your background?
definitely. So I'm Meghan Phelan, and I'm the owner of Granny NANNIES in South Florida. We are a private home care agency, but more importantly, I've been a caregiver advocate for the last 18 years. My focus has been on helping families create sustainable care solutions, both hands-on care, and then now we're even incorporating technology. And in addition to running the private care industry or the private care company, I'm also partnering with the Alzheimer's Association, and I do monthly support groups online
Mm.
and in
Mm.
person.
Wow. Wow. And that's so important, especially the support piece. The support piece is so vitally important. And I think about my own years of taking care of my mom. I always talk about there was this pivotal moment when I was caregiving my mother, and she was in senior living at that point. She was in assisted living, but I still felt the weight of responsibility. And I think that's one of the things that people don't necessarily understand, that just because your loved one may live off site from you, it's still that weight of the decisions that you have to make. It's the weight of making sure that they're okay and you're worried about them. It's the weight of, did I make the right decision? After the fact, I remember waking up at night feeling like I was overwhelmed, like, wow, I just made this powerful decision. And what if I made the wrong one choice. And then, everybody has an opinion, family squabbles, different things like that. And it doesn't make it easy. A lot of times, if your loved one is a little bit cantankerous or a little bit resistant to receiving care and help. And so you're kind of thrust a lot of times as being the mediator, the carer, the protector, all of the above.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah.
So
It's a tough job.
yeah. So you obviously are this advocate and this amazing individual. And I know that you are the operator of Granny Nannies in South Florida. And what does Granny Nannies do?
We do private home care. So we're the side of care that are helping families age in place
Hmm.
or respite care. We're also providing the respite care that family caregivers might need. But we're the piece that when mom or dad needs a little extra help in the home, we
Hmm.
are people that you would call. We've done our pre-screening and our vetting of our care providers. And more importantly, we have 15 years in the community, so I know who I'm sending you, and I can be confident in how they're going to perform.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a lot of people will say, I cringe every time I hear this. Oh, well, I have a neighbor lady that comes in and looks in on my parents. And as
it's
much
big
as the
here.
neighbor lady, I'm sure, is really nice, the neighbor lady is not licensed. The neighbor lady is not bonded. Neighbor lady is not insured. Mom and dad are not insured for that type of a scenario. I have heard horror stories of scenarios when something happens. If, let's say, neighbor lady is trying to get mom into the shower and they slip and neighbor lady hurts her back, and the next thing we know, the family or the mom is sued for that. Those things happen all the time.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why you would call someone like us is to
Hmm.
transfer that risk and
Yeah.
liability over. So
Hmm.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's big here too. Yeah, the word of mouth caregivers.
If you're a family caregiver, you're trying to do a million things at once. But one of the things that I really try to do as much as possible is make sure that I always take care of things in advance. For example, prepare, things like that. Um, I am the strongest advocate. If you have a loved one, it's great that they're doing well right now, if a senior loved one. But this is what happens. Let's say mom falls and breaks her hip. This is a common occurrence, sadly, with a lot of seniors. If you don't have somebody lined up to care for her when she comes out of senior care or out of respite care or whatever that is, maybe it's surgery, maybe it's anything, you're going to have to go to a process where you're going to have to interview home care agencies before they can even be released in many cases. There's a lot of factors. So I always say make those preparations in advance. Megan, I mean, you and I have talked about this. Would you emphasize really why that's more important than I can even do? Because you're in the industry, obviously.
Yes, yes, for sure. You definitely want to know who's coming into your house. And we call it building your age in place plan. And I want to talk to families before anything catastrophic happens because I want
Hmm.
you to be comfortable with how our billing works, who's in the office. I want you to be comfortable with how we work the scheduling. So you can't do that in a crisis situation. So we always
Yeah.
encourage you to get set up even if you
Hmm.
don't use us. I have some families that get set up and they don't call me for a year or two. Fine.
That's okay.
So,
That
so
is
you're set up.
totally okay. And that's
You've
the
read
thing
through
that
our
I think that's the thing that is so critical. People think, well, I don't need that yet. Good. It
yeah,
doesn't mean you don't do this. It's like you need to and the thing that's true is a lot of seniors they're saying to themselves, "Oh, well, I need to save my money for my kids."
yeah,
No, you need to use your money for your care. And what that
yeah,
really means is whatever that is, there's ways now that care can be very, very affordable with the segments that we're going to talk about coming up forward. But in the meantime, if you need that personal care, this is something that's so important. And what are the types of things that a home care agency helps with? We call them ADLs in the industry, but could you elaborate
Yeah.
what those are?
Yes. So ADLs are those basic personal care, 5 things: showering, bathing, toileting, ambulation, walking, feeding, spoon to mouth, and dressing. Those are the 5 ADLs, but it's bigger than that. When you're calling the right home care agency, they should be setting up a care plan with you
Mm-hmm.
and going detail by detail, the house dynamics, who lives in the house, is there pets, do we need to walk the pet, what kind of personal care do you prefer? So we go through even the kitchen, who's cooking, what kind of meals do you like? So yes, we do those 5 ADLs, and they are trained to do that through state programs. However, what's more important is that personalized care plan. It's that one-to-one touch that you're getting when you set up the care plan. So more than just the ADLs. And then the
Yeah,
big one is the personalities. Who does your mom
huge.
get along with? Who does dad get along with? So we incorporate all that.
Yeah, and I think the other piece of that is not only personalities, but how do you charge? Every agency is different. So some, have like a 1 hour minimum, some have a 5 hour minimum, or, a half a day minimum. And that means more money. Maybe you just need an hour for somebody to come in and do one small, like walk your dog for the afternoon. And the other big piece of, I think, that's really important is companion care. To sit there alone day after day is not good on the psyche. And to have somebody come in, maybe twice a week and take you to the grocery store, make sure that you're getting everything on your list, but getting you out in the community. Maybe it's even to go to lunch. You want to go and sit down at your favorite restaurant and spend some time together just to talk. I think one of the things that's so important about it is that we discount that, but it's so important.
It is. And I just had a client that this came up with. Her mom has been a client with us for years, and they're moving her into an ALF situation because it's what's right now at this time. But she's
Hmm.
keeping my care providers because she says to me, Megan, these are mom's only friends now. It has been
Yeah.
so long. It all of her friends have passed. Everyone's
Hmm.
lost touch, and your caregivers are her only friends.
And the
So,
good news is,
yeah.
likely that she has been a client, like you said, for a long time. She has had the ability while she was mentally active enough to build relationships. And
Yeah.
that means the world. And it's so important. So, Megan, how do we reach Granny Nannies in South Florida area?
Yes, so I cover all of Dade County and all of the Florida Keys, and you would go to grannynannies.com/Miami, and from there you'll find me and my other location in the Keys.
Wow, I'm jealous. Being up here in the Pacific Northwest, you live in the sunshine. So those of you that are in South Florida, we encourage you to reach out to Megan. And on our next segment, we're going to switch the page. We're going to talk about Megan's other venture, which really is supporting those to age in place on a very powerful level. And we'll be right back in segment 2 right after this. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.